I'm Olivia. I'm the Southern Yankee Stitcher. Welcome to my Flosstube number 26, I think. It's 26. It's been a couple of weeks since my last video, and I had some things to show you. I have a bunch of haul, and so I really want to put it away, and I don't like to put it away until I show it. So I've probably done more shopping than I've done stitching these last couple of weeks, but I do have some stuff to show you. I do have some stitching too to show you. I hope you all had a great Easter. For those of you on spring break, where your kids are on spring break, I hope you had a good time. Our spring break here was, where I work was a couple weeks before. But I did have a nice long weekend, 3-day weekend for Easter, and Good Friday. I told myself I'm going to garden no matter what because it's been neglected. And so I got out there and, my back didn't feel great, but it really made my mind feel good, my soul feel good to get out in the garden. I just love that. Love being outdoors and I got a lot of weeding done on the area that I pass every day, and was able to cut back some things. And I spent probably 5 or 6 hours out there, and I really wanted to stay longer. And I thought, you are not going to be able to walk tomorrow if you stay out here any longer. You know how it is the first time you go out in your garden. For any of you that garden, you forget you have those muscles on the back of your thighs from all the squatting you do. Yeah, so I was a little sore, stiff that night and the next morning, but really I've been fine. I mean, my back pain hasn't increased, I'll say that. It's not like it's gone. I have more leg pain really than back pain, but it's not gone, but it hasn't gotten any worse. So I might as well just get out there and do what I want to do. One thing I posted on Instagram, if any of y'all follow me on Instagram, I'm Southern Yankee Stitcher on Instagram too. But I was cutting back my rose bush and I found this tiny little nest from last year. I don't know what kind of bird would make a tiny little nest like that, but I thought it was so cute. So I put it under glass. I showed my grandsons when they were here. We had a good time Saturday. Saturday afternoon we did they have to travel back to their mom's on Sunday. So Sunday is always kind of a rush, and with church too in the morning. So we did Easter basket Saturday. And then we had an egg hunt out in the yard, and they had a ball and, ate all kinds of candy and played with those little cheap toys I stick in their baskets. And I had a good time. I think they had a good time too, but children just make everything fun. They just make it all fun. My daughter last week, she came home from work on Tuesday last week, and she said, "You were asleep when I got home last night. I couldn't tell you." I said, "What?" She said, "I saw a big animal on my way home last night." She said, "It crossed the road in front of me, and it had something in its mouth." And she told me where it went up in the woods. It's on our road. It was a big, cougar. And she said, there's no doubt in my mind, his ears were kind of rounded, and he had a long, swooping tail. He was tan. And like I said, he had a small animal or something in his mouth. And so I posted we have a community, our neighborhood Facebook page. And I posted on there and asked anybody if they'd seen it. And one lady said her husband's picked up something on the trail cam. Well, she posted the pictures, and that's a bobcat that they saw, which I knew there were bobcats around here. But really, this far south, we're not near the mountains or anything, and it's unusual to see that kind of big cat here. So she was taken back, of course. She said she stopped her car. He didn't act scared of a car. He just walked real slow, or I don't know, just walked real slow into the woods. And she said, I thought about getting out of my car to try and get a picture. And she said, but I thought I better not. I was like, that's probably pretty smart. Don't get out when there's a big cat out there. So some other people, I kind of was talking around to different people, and my pastor's one said he's seen 2 of them. So, like I said, that's unusual for here, but, with all the development and stuff that's going on just everywhere, animals are places they didn't used to be. Like my childhood home in Maryland, we were in the mountains, but we weren't there were several miles to the very tippy top of the mountain, but that wasn't very populated. And there might be a bear up there. There's a state park up there. But never saw one near our house. Now, we used to hike back behind my grandmother's house. She lived across the street. We go up to this rock formation, and you could drop down in like a cave. We call it the bear den. It was always called the bear den. And maybe years and years ago there were bears there, but as people built, the bears kept moving higher up the mountain. Well, it was 2019, I went back to Maryland for our wedding and stopped and talked to the people that live in our childhood home now. And they were so kind. They walk all through the house, see everything, like in every room. I mean, you couldn't get any nicer than these people. But they were telling us they've had bears on their deck. Now, when I lived there growing up, there were no bears. I went hiking in the woods all the time by myself. And we actually had stopped at the house because I wanted to go hiking back in the woods where I used to hike. And I used to hike up to this rock formation, and you could look down. It was a real pretty view to look down in the valley. And, well, we didn't even talk about that when we did everything. But anyway, they have bears there. And a lady was attacked by a black bear several years back, not too far from the house. But, yeah, mountain lion was a little unsettling. And so some of the people that live around here that are hunters, they want to be on the lookout, and they, South Carolina Department of Natural Resources, that one lady reported it to them, and they told us what to do, not to kill it, try and get a picture, and then see if it's protected, and all this stuff. But anyway, my daughter saw a cougar. It was pretty. I wish I had been there to see it, because people have talk about panthers around here, and like this mysterious panther, and they've had big paw prints by the ponds and things like that. Well, it might have been this cougar, which they call a Carolina panther. That's what they call it. Not all Carolina panthers are black, apparently. Some are tan, which is what she saw. Anyway, so after that nice long weekend, back at work, and just kind of back to the same old routine. Not much else going on. But I did do some stitching, and I want to share those with you. I did have one finish, and it is the Prairie Schooler Spring and Fall April. Right there. And I've showed you before, this is the one I put on my office door, and I'm always getting them done last minute, so I will insert a picture here of the finished product hanging on my door. Okay. Hopefully that picture was shown properly. The next thing I worked on, my next whip, is Prairie Schoolers Santa's 12 Days of Christmas, and I'm on day 3. I haven't quite finished it. Let's see where I can hold it where I can see it. There you can see day 3. I've just started filling in the white for the chickens. There are 2 chickens like in the boxes and one on top, like on the roof there. And then I'll outline it and move on to day 4. I have to take some measurements. I have a frame in mind for these, and I don't know if I'm going to do 3 rows of 4 or 4 rows of 3 to get all 12 days on there. So I've got to measure before I do the next day and figure that out. Oops. Get lost. I stitch in hand, so I don't use needle minders. I have seen some people that use them still. I thought about maybe putting them on my bag, but don't know. Anyway, this is stitched on a 32 count Lambswool Jobelin. I should just show you that. And I love the color. I don't love the feel of the fabric though. It's polyester feeling. I don't like it. But I like the way it looks, and that's all that counts when it's done. I can get through this 12 days done. All right, then I had to start. I was thinking ahead to StitchCon, and for anybody new that hasn't seen the last couple of videos, I'm going to be StitchCon Weekend B, and I am really excited about it. It's the first stitching retreat I've ever gone on. I've gone on retreats like for scrapbooking years ago when I did a lot of scrapbooking, but I haven't for stitching, so I'm excited about that. And some of my family is going to go with me, and they're going to do their own thing during the day. They want to go see the Cincinnati Zoo. They maybe want to go to the Creation Museum on the way there or back. I'm not sure. And not sure what else they're going to do. I think they wanted to go to see there's some breweries, so they're in caves or something, I think they said. Anyway, my youngest daughter works at a brewery, so she's like, I think I want to go see that. So, thinking ahead, I need to do my small. I'm definitely doing the smalls exchange. I just want to have the full experience of the whole thing. So I want to do the exchange. I don't want to regret it. And I went through all of my charts, and I found this one that was in the Punch Needle Primitive Stitcher Summer 2021 magazine. It's the Be Kind Sampler by Teresa Miller of Teresa's Primitive Treasures. This is the chart right here. At first, I thought I'm just going to stitch the Be Kind and just this right here. Leave off the alphabet and the numbers. But then I kind of wanted to have the alphabet. So I'm stitching everything except the border. And I'm doing this line below the numbers, but not this, whatever you want to call that, there. And not the border. So, put that aside. I stitched it. And I finished the section I wanted to do. And I decided it maybe wasn't good enough for the exchange. That's what I stitched right there. My bees are up one stitch too high, so their antennas touch the zigzag border above it. I really didn't want to rip them out. The chart on the bee skep with a little opening down here. Well, the bee skep is in two different colors. It's 2 weeks colors, and I did lots of color substitutions. I just used what I had on this. One's more of a green color, and one's more of a yellow. And they had you stitch the little opening at the bottom in the green color. Well, it didn't even look like an opening. So I ended up ripping that out and putting in the darker. I added a stripe to the vases that the tulips are in. I guess they're tulips. And I don't know. I guess except for the bees, it's okay. Some of my stitching right here is not that great. There are a couple stitches that just, I don't like the way they look. So, and I thought, oh my God, what if like some of these perfect stitchers get this? So, I'm doing it again. And I got the bees at this bee at the right spot. This really stitches up pretty fast. I wanted this for myself too. So I'm not really sad that I have to stitch it twice because that's how much I like it. This fabric came from Hobby Lobby. It's this right here. I think the color's called Spa. It's 32 count. Swagger. So I was able to fit, I'm going to be able to fit 2 pieces on here. And I'm going to finish it into a pin keep or small pillow. And I have some other things I'm going to do with it that I'm not going to show you. It's part of my haul, but I'm not going to show you everything. For the, should I show it? No, I have the backing fabric here, but I'm not going to show you that either. You know, in case one of you gets my exchange, it'll be a surprise. We'll just do it like that. So that's pretty much all of my stitching, I think. Let me look at my list here. I try to write stuff down so I wouldn't forget. yeah, that's it. So it feels like I hadn't done a lot of stitching in the last 2 weeks. I think it's maybe been 10 days, but still. But I've been shopping a lot. So let me show you some of the things I got. Well, I did get, I subscribed to the paper copy of Punch Needle Primitive Stitcher. 2 years ago, I had the digital copy, and I let it lapse, and I thought, I think I want to get the paper copy just so I have it, because my tastes change, and what if I start doing punch needle, and then I'll, maybe have printed off everything, and maybe I won't still have access or something, like that. So I decided I wanted to have a paper copy, and with the paper copy, you get full access to their whole digital library. So I did take advantage of that and went back and saw some things, printed them out. I'm not going to do like a whole flip through of this magazine because you've probably seen that with other stitchers, but I'm going to show you my favorite piece of the bunch, and it's the Spring Garden. That's probably my favorite in the whole book. So that'll be on my short list of things to stitch. When I started stitching, I had watched Flosstube a lot, and then I was just a monogamous stitcher. Just stitched on one thing at a time. Finished it and started another. And so I wanted to keep it like that because I didn't want to have a big haul and spend a lot of money and get carried away like I've done with some hobbies in the past. Well, so much for that. That hasn't happened. My stash is growing daily, and I'm not sorry. I'm just not sorry. But I am trying to go to, thrift stores and stuff like that when I can to, first of all, I love finding something like that. I told y'all before, I love finding the bargain. The thrill of the hunt is as great as the reward that you buy. So, I've just been going maybe last couple weeks. I've gone twice shopping, but I've done a little online shopping too. So anyway, let me show you first what I got in a local store here. This was our local Habitat store, and I got all these Gentle Arts, and they were marked down to $1. It was $1 each, which, it's still cheap. And they're all really colors that I will use for sure. As a matter of fact, I may use this color on the bee skep I do for the next one I'm stitching, the second one I'm stitching. I also got, this was all like kitted up, $2, and it was like 50% off because it had been sitting around for a while. So there are 2 charts in here. Historic Stitches. I've never heard of them before, but there are 2 ornaments. This one, Christmas Forest ornament, and then Christmas Redwork ornament. And I thought they were really cute. And it was kit up with Aida. And the DMC that you'd use. Score. Alright, then, I went to Dollar Tree. I don't know if y'all remember a few videos back, I talked about my hot glue gun, which is right, I'm here in my crafters, it's pretty close. Like, it's a bad boy hot glue gun. And if I heat this up and use it right when the glue gets, workable, it's not bad. But if I let it sit for a while I'm doing something else, like I'm finishing and I did one and now I'm working on the other, I'll leave it on. When that glue comes out, it is literally boiling. There are bubbles in it, and it's like making like a steam sound. And I've burned the heck out of my fingers. Well, these were at the Dollar Tree or the $1.25 tree. Silicone fingers So I'm like, oh gosh, they weren't even near, they were somewhere like near the drinks or something in the Dollar Tree. And I thought, oh, I need those because I have blistered my fingers on that glue. Crazy. I talked about some of the fabrics at Walmart and that I saw some cute ones and wanted to do some project bags. Well, some of the colors they had, the Pioneer Woman, they only had them either in, I think, a fat quarter or 2 yards. One was too small and the other one was way too big. But they had Waverly fabrics, and I got these two. I thought the outside of the project bag and the inside. That would be really cute. So I'm going to try and make that. Well, then I went to Hobby Lobby, and I went back to their, well, I was going in looking for this fabric. I'm putting this B sampler, whatever it's called. And, of course, you know, it's $5.99 for their pieces of fabric. I found that. Well, of course, the one I needed, was not on sale. But I know you've probably seen some other people post about Hobby Lobby and their cross-stitch clearance. And let me tell you, I cleaned them out. These were all 99 cents each. And so this is like a gray gingham. A taupe gingham. And I have two of those. And a floor. Got a couple of those. And then pink splash. It's kind of hard to see. And I thought, I have a granddaughter on the way. I can use pink splash on something. I actually have some charts that I've been looking at, trying to decide what I want to do. I don't know, haven't really picked like a theme for the nursery, but there's some Beatrix Potter charts I have, and I love Beatrix Potter. I'm going to talk about that another time, how much I love Beatrix Potter. But I thought I might stitch that on that pink splash. And then this is Aida, and this, what do they call it? Toast. I got a couple of them. So then they had these tea towels. It's made so you can stitch it down here. And it's two of them for $1.74. And I thought, even if I don't stitch on them, I like the way they feel. I would just use them as tea towels or for decoration. Or the stripe is kind of, kind of, it's in a gray, but it kind of reminds you of ticking. So I got it for $1.74. Then there's these towels, and this is perfect for embroidery. Well, I would cross stitch on those. Those were also $1.74. It would be a real large count, something I would stitch on there, but I probably wouldn't use it for a towel because I don't like being able to see the back of your stitching. And then this was 99 cents for this yellow tea towel. And I like the way this fabric looked, and I could definitely stitch on this. Now there was one that I got a little carried away. It was, I don't know if it was 99 cents or $1.74. It was in this gray. And I originally was going to stitch the beak skip piece on this, but the way it's woven, it's kind of diagonal, like, I don't know. I can't stitch on this. So I'll use it for something. I don't know what. And then these also were $1.74. And it's a cotton, I assume. It looks like linen with that cutout on there. But I kind of like it. I think I can, I don't know what project I will do on that. Here you can see kind of what the pattern's like of that cutout. To this like inside stripe and make it turn into banding. So I got that, and then I just got some of the cute little things. Note cards, 74 cents, and cute little rollers. Cute little scissors. They were $8. They were $1.99. And then these clothespins I liked. So I got those. Then I know I've seen a couple of people. I know I saw Brenda on Brenda and the Cereal Starter, and somebody else show those patterns that came out at market that are round and they finish as a lid on the top of a little red bowl. And the bowl is, I assume it's like ceramic and handmade or something. But I was in Dollar General, and they have these with their spring things. Little ramekins for $1. And I thought, this color, the yellow especially, I like. And I could finish a little lid in there or make it a pin keeper, or even just use this as to hold, clips or pins, paper clips or something on my desk. I don't know. But I just like the colors, so I grabbed them. But this one I think I'm going to make a lid for it, stitch a lid. Alright. I got a book on eBay. This was probably because I was bored and awake at night. And I've watched like every series I was interested in on Netflix. So this book is called English Sampler Motifs. It was put out by Wiltshire Folk Life Society. You see that there. And it's kind of cool what it has. I really wasn't sure what it had in there, but it shows a couple of samplers. Show the charts. Here's the other one. The only color pictures in here are these two. These two antique samplers. This is apparently second edition. Came out in 1990. The first one came out in 79. I mean, it's nothing fancy because the type is like how it's typewritten. And there it just gives you some sample borders. I'm just going to show you that real quick on this one. Sample borders and the year. So what they did is they went through some antique samplers and showed you the variations. That page showed variations of the strawberry motif from 1758, 1777, 1782, 1837. Then there's another page that shows you simple borders. And it kind of tells you what colors they would be in. It shows you plans. It shows you variations of a carnation border. Different things that were used through history. And so I thought that's pretty cool because, well, I've been working on a sampler that depicts my childhood home. And it's based, well, it's not based on, I shouldn't say that. It was inspired by, I'll say that. The chart's called, I can't remember the name right now, but it's a French name. And it's got a picture of this house, and it's got a big pear, and I think a cross, and then this really swirly alphabet on the top. And it's real muted colors. And if you watch the Country Stitchers, Deb stitched it, and then she coffee or tea stained with a Q-tip around the letters that she wanted to age. If you remember that. Well, as soon as I saw that piece and saw that house on that piece, something about it just reminded me of my childhood home. I don't know if it's the roof angles or something, and I liked the way that it was very realistic looking, the house was, but then it was on the sampler. Because, you know, most samplers have things that are just, I don't know, more primitive in their shape. I don't know how to, I'm not explaining myself very well, but I wanted to do a sampler that, like, when you looked at it, you knew it was my childhood home. My childhood home's called Chestnut Springs, and you knew it was Chestnut Springs when you saw it. So I've been working on that, and I've done different borders on it. I've done an alphabet. I took the alphabet off. I put on some different motifs. I took them off. I keep changing it around because I just want to get it right when I do it. So I've been working on that for a long time, and I'll like put it aside and I won't look at it. Like right now, I probably haven't looked at it in a couple months. Probably I haven't worked on it since before Christmas, actually. And I've pulled it up on the computer and looked at it and thought about it, but I haven't finished it. But something like this with these motifs in it, and to kind of tell you some of the origin of them and all, I like that, and so that I can maybe incorporate that into my piece. At first I wanted to try and put everything in there and have a lot of symbolism with everything, but you know, sometimes more is just more. It's not better, and it was becoming just more, not better. So I took a bunch of stuff out, and I'm still just until I'll know when it's right, then I'll stop and it'll be done. But so I've been getting some little books that depict antique samplers, so I can just kind of get some inspiration off of those. So while I was on eBay looking at charts that I don't need, but I really want, I came across one. I was just like, thought, well, let me see, maybe I'll happen up on one that has the same name as somebody in my family or the same surname. So I was putting, searching cross-stitch sampler and like my maiden name and my married name. Well, then I searched my late mother-in-law's maiden name and came up with one. And it was so cool because she's from South Carolina, and this chart is a traditional sampler from South Carolina, and it had the name Thompson in it. So this is a chart that I found. This chart is from 1975. And my mother-in-law's, well, her first name was Leela, but she went by her middle name, Lavinia. Her maiden name was Lavinia Thompson. So, now of course her mother's name was Thompson too. And I thought, but that was her mother's married name. And I thought, well, maybe I need to stitch it in my mother-in-law's name like I first thought of. And then at the bottom, I'm going to put stitch in memory of Lavinia Thompson by Olivia Reynolds, blah, blah, blah. Because I don't want to like make it look like I'm trying to create something that she didn't create. But And here it says, Virginia Thompson is my name, America my nation, Carolina is my dwelling place, and Christ is my salvation. When you put American is my nation, you think? I don't know. Pawleys Island original, Jenny Thompson original designs. Jenny Thompson is from South Carolina, I believe. And she had a little write-up in here about the traditional sampler, which is pretty cool. And I searched on eBay for her, and she did a lot of charts back in the 70s, a lot of them. And she did a couple of books that were like instructional, how to, for beginners, cross stitchers and stuff. So I was kind of excited about this. I think I want to think about it a little bit before I start it and make sure I'm going to do it just right. But I'll keep coming up with things on my short list. Okay. Today, on my way home from work, I told you all about the hospice store. And they're open Wednesday through Saturday, I think it is. So on my way home from work on Wednesdays, I like to stop in there because that's when you see the good stuff. Actually, if I was there Wednesday when they open the doors, people used to line up, wait for the doors to open. And most of them, I think, are probably people who are reselling. But that's when you would really find the good stuff. I got there. It was last week. It might have been the week before. I went on a Wednesday, and there's a lady walking around carrying one of those DMC books with all the DMC colors in it. And I kept trying to look at it and think, oh, is she going to lay it down? I'm going to follow her a little bit. I'm pretty sure it was the one that had the thread in it, not just the colors. Dang. She just picked it up right in front of me. Anyway. But I got a couple of hoops today. Now, I stitch in hand. It's a big old hoop. But my daughter-in-law, we were talking a couple weeks ago about quilting. And she came in and I was watching a Lori Holt video. And I said, man, this lady, she's so talented. And she said, oh, I had a quilt that I started when I was a teenager. I never finished it. And she said, I have to find it. I don't know where it is. I think it's in storage. So we watched that she sat down and just finished watching the video with me. And then we went in to give my grandson a snack. And we were sitting at the table with him, and she gets out a pencil and paper, and she sketches out a quilt pattern are like chickens in the chicken house. And I was like, that's so good. I mean, she's very talented artistically. I mean, I said, you could start your own business. I'm just saying, you could. I know you don't stitch, but you need to watch some Lori Holt videos and some Teresa Coca videos because you have talent. She's been painting murals, different businesses all around town, and they're so fabulous. But anyway, she found her quilt and brought it over and showed it to me. It's really pretty. It's done in blues and yellow, blue and yellow, like a real bright blue. And she did the log cabin pattern on it. And it's partially quilted, and she quilted it all by hand. She said, but I don't have a hoop anymore. Well, I gave her the Q-snap I had. I said, I don't know if you can fit that quilt in this Q-snap, but it's the biggest thing I have. I said, I don't use it. I stitch in hand. But then I saw this today. So I sent her a text and said, I found the giant hoop you can use for your quilt. But not only did I find that hoop, I found this giant hoop. Y'all, it's humongous. It says it's 18 by 27. Now, like I said, I stitch in hand. I don't use a hoop. I don't know. The only thing that I thought of when I saw this was $3 or $4. I think this one was $4. The other one was $3, maybe. A I thought I could just finish a piece in this if I don't have any other use for it. That would be just neat, especially if I'm doing like a sampler wall, which of course, who stitches and doesn't want to do a sampler wall. And then I've got this chalkboard at the thrift store. It still has whatever the stuff written on it that the people used it. Or whoever had it before. I paid $5 or $6 for this, I can't remember. But I just thought it was super neat. And if I don't use it for a chalkboard, it could be a really pretty finished piece in here. It's just unusual, a neat shape. I just liked it. Okay, last thing I'm going to show you is the needlepoint. I mentioned last video that I came across when I was cleaning up this room some needlepoint that I had done as a teenager, and it was all wonky in the shape. This is it. I pulled it back out. It's supposed to be a square. Can you see how wonky it is? And this is one of those that the flowers were already done. All you did was fill in the background. It's done in wool, so it's super durable. So I searched on YouTube for some videos on how to block your needlepoint. And guess what? I have a needlepoint blocker. This is my mom's, and I have had it in my sewing room here with a towel on top of it, using it to iron. What's it saying, giant words? Needlepoint blocker. But I still didn't really know how to use it. I found a paper that was with it and said to pin it, but the person, I watched a couple of videos online. The first one said, they were pinning it. They wet it, and then they stretched it and pinned it. This other person took you through it step by step, and I think that she's a professional finisher. And she said never wet it. She has some that I think are bigger than these, but all metal thumbtacks and like a quilting ruler so you can see behind it, and you just stretch your piece and hammer these in. I think the block is big enough for the piece. Yeah, just barely. But I mean, it's pretty. It's really wonky. So, I don't know. And she says, and I hate saying she, I should have gotten the name off the video. I'll try and look that up and put it in the notes in here because I want to give credit where credit's due. But she said, don't wet it. Because you might have bleeding on your threads. But she steams it with an iron. But the iron never touches the stitch piece. She puts it on and starts to stretch it, and then steams it. And there's a lot of like sizing in the canvas, which is why the canvases are real stiff. And the steam will activate the sizing so you can move it, and I guess it'll be damp enough where you can move it, and then when it dries, it'll stay in place, is the idea. And she talked about it staying overnight. Well, this thing has been this way. I'm 53 and a half. I did it when I was a teenager. You do the math. It's been that way a long time. So if I get it straight on the block, then I'm going to leave it probably a week or so, or two. And I wish I had a chair to put it on, but I don't. So, and I don't need to buy a chair to put it on. That thought has crossed my mind. I'm not going to do that. But I think I'm going to do a pillow for in that chair I have that has the fringe on it. And I have the fabric. I have extra from the upholsterer I can do the back of the pillow and make it look real good. So I think that's what I'm going to do. But that's going to be like a long project, and I'm not in a big hurry to do that. I want to block it maybe this weekend if I have time. But so anyway, I did get these push pins from Amazon, and like I said, the lady who did it online, I think the point part was about the same, but I think this part was a little bigger. Hers looked bigger, but you just nail them in like with a hammer. Then she didn't show you pulling them out. I don't know how hard it is to pull them out, but I wondered why there was. It's like particle board inside this needlework blocker. So I'm gonna try that. Let me look at my little notes here if you all bear with me so I can make sure I'm telling you everything I need to tell you. I think so. I think that's about it. I did. Oh, I know what I wanted to tell you. I got some bad news. Let me get a drink real quick. Got some bad news for South Carolina stitchers. As far as I know, there were only 3. Maybe there's a 4th needlework store in the state. Okay. I think there might be one, like somebody said, I don't know, along the coast. It was Myrtle Beach or Charleston. I can't remember now where it was. A new one fairly new one that opened up. But I haven't seen a whole lot about that. Another one that was probably maybe 3 hours from me. I'm not sure. I never went there. I was looking forward to going there. I was going to make a road trip for, a day, maybe even overnight. I don't know, to Fire Poppies. And if you all have seen, she's retiring, closing up shop, not selling it, not. So as soon as they announced they were closing, and I saw it, I went online to see what I could get, because whenever I place an online order, I try and go to a South Carolina store first, because I want to support, I want to support any small businesses, but I especially want to support the ones in my state. So, there was everything I clicked on was like sold out, sold out, sold out. Then a week later, maybe, I don't think it was much more than that. That there was a post that the Stitch and Frame shop in Rock Hill is also closing. They thought about selling the shop, didn't work out. They tried it a couple times, and they just decided they're going to retire. So they're selling everything. It's all 25% off. So I saw that post, and I went online, and I placed a big order with them with a bunch of charts. What I'm going to get, I don't know. You did the checkout, but they didn't actually run it through until they physically pull and make sure they have all the charts that you ordered, because the website wasn't updated. And then they apply the 25%. So I don't know what I'm going to get. Don't know what I'm going to get. I didn't realize their website wasn't updated until after I placed the order, and I had narrowed down my list. Like, I might not have narrowed down my list if I had known the website might not be right, because I ordered a bunch of charts, but who knows what I'm going to get. They could all be sold out, because I did that probably a week ago, and I still haven't heard from them with the final amount. They said they were just swamped. They did send me an email yesterday saying they were swamped, because I asked them about the discount wasn't applied, and they said, they told me what the process was. So that's, anyway, so that place was about an hour and a half for me. And I really was, that was a doable day trip for sure. Because the only other one is really the one that I've gone to the most. Well, the only one I've gone to in person. They don't do online ordering, and it's called Panda's Crossing. Well, they're mainly a bead store. They sell beads and jewelry making stuff. And then they have this back little section of cross stitch. And then they have a side room that's like it can be like a classroom or a workroom. They'll have stitch-ins there, I think, on certain Friday nights. And they just will have a few like bins for you to shuffle through, look at charts on those tables in there. That's it. So I'm pretty sad that both of our South Carolina stores are closing up. I did have one person post on a Facebook page, they would love to go into business with somebody if somebody in this area would want to partner up with them on this business, and that business would be a lot closer. Maybe the area she was talking about, maybe 45 minutes from me. So that would be awesome. That would be awesome if they did that. If I didn't have so much going on, if I didn't have a job like a state job that I don't want to give up my state job and benefits, I would do it because I've thought about doing it on the side, and I can't do anything else. But I can see where it would be successful and where there is a need. So, hey, if there's anybody watching in South Carolina, you need to open a stitch needlepoint needlework shop. Yeah, I guess that's it. So I'll be working on my same old stuff you see me working on. I hope to get my small done for StitchCon. I don't want any last minute rush with that. I don't like last minute anything. And I need to do May for my office store, the May chart, which is a robin, the Prairie School chart. So that, again, I'm not last minute, which means I need to get on that. And, I'm trying to do one of those Santa's, the 12 Days of Christmas, one a month. I'm just finishing up the third one, and we're closing in on the end of April, so I'm behind on that too. But, I don't want stitching to be something that's a chore for me. It's something enjoyable, relaxing to me. So I don't want to turn it into the deadlines and rules I have to follow. There are no rules in cross stitch, right? Oh, I see one more thing that I purchased. I pulled one out to show. No, I don't see it. Here, it came a few to a pack. I don't know why you need a few of them. Cool, they're hooked together. Anyway, it's a magnetic seam guide. And I solved this. It's for your sewing machine. And you can see the little picture here. It's got a really strong magnet in it, and it will, what do you call it, adhere to the base of your sewing machine where that metal plate is. And then you run your fabric in there, you can see, and it keeps it at the perfect seam if you keep it right along there. Instead of trying to eyeball the lines, the guidelines on there. And I need help with that. I really want to do some quilts, and I thought, well, this will help me. This will help me. So that's my last purchase. All right, that's it, guys. I will see you next time. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, like, and comment. All those things. And I'll see you in a couple weeks. Bye.